If you've seen the montage before we came on this camera, you know we have plenty of good video to get you to. Welcome into the College Football Show Week 8 edition. Myself, Trevor Scales, here as always, and the first man back in the rotation, Max Starks. Welcome back, big dog.
Man, I'm glad to be here.
Oh, man.
Glad to get it in. Week 8.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Keep it rolling. And over there leaning out just to make sure he is seen is Gary Striewski, mean mugging the camera.
I'm not mean mugging, Trev. I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
You know, all the way up until this point, I've been riding with the Badgers on Wisconsin. Jonathan Taylor, my Heisman frontrunner, and dang it, they hit a roadblock today. I'm about to cry.
Hey, listen, before you do, let's just go ahead and just do what we're supposed to do here, and that is talk football.
Okay.
We are here to talk all things past, present, and future in Week 8, and we begin with the thing that has Gary sad, unfortunately. We just go get right to it. Wisconsin taking on Illinois for the Illini homecoming. And, buddy, I think everybody and their mama thought that this was about to be something where, you know, the homecoming results are typically lopsided in favor of the team hosting the homecoming. We thought it was going to be the other way around, but the Illini came to play on today, Max, and everything about their performance. They were able to go 1 for 1 and keep this thing close at all times. Jonathan Taylor still got a solid, productive day at the office for him. But at the end of the day, Illinois pulls off the comeback, and it's partly due to Lovie Smith coaching them boys up and having them ready to go for this Saturday matchup.
I mean, the will to win was there for Lovie Smith. Obviously, the glorious white beard was out and shining in the sunshine of Champaign. And when you think about how this game went, it was a rough and tough game. So you said advantage Wisconsin, a great run defense, a top scoring defense. They didn't score, and they allowed the Illini to run on their defense. And that's really what it was. It came down to time of possession and then making the plays when they mattered. And I have to say, it was fun to watch today. It was a fun game.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't agree with the uniforms, but I agree with the outcome.
We can actually get into that in just a second because, again, you see that big old orange eye in the middle of the field? Wasn't a whole lot of orange in them uniforms. But I digress. We will go back to the actual in-game action. A crucial interception late leads to this field goal going down. And as time expires, that is the very first time that the Wisconsin Badgers trailed all season. And I actually have a bit of a semantic question to ask about that because technically the clock's hit 0, so have they trailed this season? Like, is that...
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Gary, what do you have on it? Like,
does that count? Come on, Gary.
Gary,
it's
my
okay.
brain is about to explode. I think I got more tangible questions that we can ask that we can actually have an answer to. Like, why the hell, with 2 minutes to go, you're up you're up one score, was one. Your best offensive player, Jonathan Taylor, not on the field. And 2, why were you throwing the football? Why weren't you just handing it to him?
That's a question for Paul Chryst. I think it is when you have a Heisman candidate who racked up his 28th career 100-yard game. I'm not entirely sure why you pull him off the field.
Wisconsin was 31-point favorits.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't even get to 31 points total.
Gary over there hurt.
I don't even know what I'm saying. I've been to Wisconsin once. I've been there
But you have an allegiance to them now.
I had cheese curds. They were delicious.
Yes, I imagine.
We'll bounce back.
You will. But for now, Minnesota is atop the Big Ten West.
Okay.
So hold that.
That's your West favorite.
That is just a wildly unfortunate turn of events for the Wisconsin Badgers. I do wonder specifically about that last drive, how you pull a guy like Jonathan Taylor out. Is it just a mismanagement of personnel on the offense? Is it just a matter of you believing Jack Cohn is going to be able to make this ship run? Are you that confident in your defense as well? There's a lot of different things that get involved in this question as to why Jonathan Taylor isn't a part of your 4-minute drill in order to ice this game.
Well, and the fact that you're Wisconsin.
Right.
You run the football. That's
Identity.
just what you do.
Correct.
That is your identity. You run the football and you play stout defense. And I don't feel like they even got close to that identity, especially in the second half of this game, to allow Illinois to get back into it. The defense just looked porous towards the end. The run game, we were watching it. Counterplay after inside zone play up the middle. There was no push up the pocket. So it was one of those things where you were just like, okay, when's Jonathan Taylor going to come here and right the ship and get back to what he does best?
You mentioned all of the talking points about what led to this Illini win, and it sounded like what was the formula for Wisconsin all year long. Good defense, play a whole lot of ball control, and make the plays that you need to whenever that time comes. And that just was exactly what Illinois did in this instance, and leads to a big win for that program. And and it feels like one of them things that cools the seats of one Lovie Smith just a tad bit. Doesn't have to cool down much, but at the very least for this season, it feels like Lovie Smith is safe.
Well, Black Santa can stay in Champagne.
Yes.
I mean, he can stay. I love that beer. I can't do it
I'm
anymore.
so jealous.
I mean, it's one of those. It's an envious beer.
Yes, very much. Gary, can you grow a beer like that?
Can I grow a beer like that?
I just wanted to know.
I'm 32. I've shaved once, and that was just I wanted to feel what it was like. That's the only reason. I was like, what's this peach fuzz doing? Let me go ahead and get this off. On to the next.
And on that note, we will do just that.
We'll go on to the next topic.
highlight, Clemson and Louisville, a team that we thought in Clemson that was going to continue to dominate, but Louisville kind of kept us close in the first half. We saw some very uncharacteristic, well, I guess for seasons past, because Trevor Lawrence, after throwing 4 interceptions last season, has now racked up 8 in this season, and we're only halfway through. So we're looking at a situation where, I don't know if it's the decision making, and I think I touched on it earlier this season, where it feels like the weight of the world is much more on Trevor Lawrence's shoulders than it has been in seasons past, where it's just been like, or season past, in that he didn't have to worry about that. He got to go out there and play loose. And this year, it is very apparent that he is the leader. He is the heir to this throne for the Clemson Tigers. And it feels like, that just getting a little tight. It really is.
Well, and you saw even at one point when he ran to the sideline, he was trying to talk to Dabo. And Dabo was like, no, just go sit down. Get on the headset, talk up in the booth. Don't talk to me right now.
I have nothing for you.
Got to get out of here. And then, Travis Etienne, where is he at? This run game for Clemson, he is a difference maker when the ball is in his hands. Put the ball in his hands. Trevor Lawrence is asking. He's giving you all the signs that you need to say, can we run more?
Correct.
And not me.
Take the load.
Because I don't know how to slide.
And wasn't that the oddest thing? Watching the quarterback run game that they all of a sudden went to. It was like, man, Trevor ain't got it today through the air. Let's run quarterback power. I'm sorry, you have a potential Heisman candidate at running back
sitting right behind you.
Correct.
Right
Gave the ball to him 14 times. He racked up 192 yards at a touchdown, but you refuse to just lean on that back when you really need him and you don't have much else going.
Maybe 21 carries.
Maybe 21 carries
this week.
Yes.
Exactly. And don't let Trevor Lawrence stand up and take 3 shots in the chest every time he runs the football. The boy was getting tattooed. He didn't know what a baseball slide was. I get it. It's something that's a nuance.
Yes.
Takes a little skill to figure out how to do that.
Yes, if you will.
Let's see. RG3 did not learn that skill.
No, he didn't.
But run out of bounds, fall down, something, and give it to Travis Etienne. That's it.
Yes,
just give him the ball. That's the end
simple.
of the day. Take those 7 carries and give them back to him.
Travis Etienne entered the day averaging 7 some odd yards per carry. I don't understand why you don't. Just to be clear, Clemson did win the game and they won it handedly. It was just a matter of watching Trevor Lawrence's performance today and wondering what exactly has gone awry for that team, because we're going to get into our top 6 discussion. We're at the halfway point of this. We're going to get into that discussion. But a lot of what we have as far as just a lack of awe when it comes to that Clemson Tigers team has to do with Trevor Lawrence's performances to this point of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you hate to say that this is an undefeated team and we're like bagging on them, but style points do matter, especially when you get into the college football playoff picture, how you stack up, where they want to see those matchups. Those matter. I mean, yes, did you beat the team today, Louisville, 45-10? Yes, you did. But it was a struggle, especially going into halftime. This wasn't, don't let the score fool you. Louisville made their own mistakes, and they even started, they put in a freshman quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And they were still close in this game for the most part, and then it got out of hand.
There were a couple dropped wide open touchdowns that really could have made this thing a lot more snug than as we see as the 45-10 result there at the bottom of your screen. This is the College Football Show presented by AT&T. Trevor Scales, Max Stars, Gary Striewski holding you down as always here, taking you through past, present, and future of Week 8. And next up, we got your boys, the Gators, checking in on South Carolina at home. And a question, I mentioned the tightness of chest of one Trevor Lawrence. How tight was your chest throughout a lot of this?
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I didn't breathe at one point. I used a straw, and I was looking for an oxygen bar. But unfortunately, on this campus, that's the one thing you guys don't have here. Oxygen bar, I needed that because Kyle Trask, mind you, cool, calm, collected in Death Valley, but was complaining about the wet football in this game.
He was throwing ducks. It was just like the velocity wasn't there. The accuracy was just a touch off.
Oh.
And prime example, right
Prime
there.
example.
Right? Like,
Just threw it to him.
And it was almost one of them cases where, thank goodness you weren't here last week, because the Dogs just absolutely laid an egg against these jokers at home off of bye week, but I don't want to go off on that tangent. We'll keep you posted.
We're not going to talk about Rodrigo.
Oh, my God.
Hashtag hearts for Rodrigo.
Now I'm sad like Gary.
They're doing okay right now. That's all you need to worry about.
After 3 quarters, South Carolina actually led this one by 3, but it really was just a matter of getting the run game going, allowing Florida to lean on the horses that they do have at all times, and it's just they've found a way to kind of figure this thing on out and get the 38.
Mama, there go that man.
Yes.
Hey, and that's really what it came down to. The actual run game kicking in when it did. We always seem to have that signature run, whether, we usually think it's P. Ryan, Pierce as well, and those guys kicked in. And then, of course, Grimes has shown up these last couple of weeks. He's shown up big.
This is the OPI of the day. I just want to call that out.
OPI. Kyle Pitts.
Come on now.
Homie.
You're a Gator.
Great job.
And I know you know that this was the most blatant OPI I've ever seen in my life.
A play from Little Giants. I'm just saying. That was the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Didn't even try to hide the fact that he was going to screen
He
him.
had 0 route responsibility, and he acted like it that entire time. You come in like this, you're not trying to catch a football as a
Feet
receiver.
chopping and everything. Not even looking at the quarterback. He said, let me find this joker so I can
I'm not on this route. I'm not a read.
No, I'm not even worried
active
about
read
that.
on this.
To be clear, Kyle Trask, again, we talked about the inaccuracies, the unwise decision-making. He did throw a career-high 4 touchdown passes on the day. Helinski did what he could as well. 17 for 35, 170 yards and 1 touchdown. But I think we saw, again, he was hampered a little bit with his knee last week against Georgia. And again, he fought through it. But at the very least, though, I will say Ryan Helinski is not afraid to take some shots downfield, and I think Will Muschamp has to be appreciative of at least that much from his young quarterback.
Well, Ryan Helinski came out there and just powered through. And obviously 3/4 of that game, he looked on target, on the money, and delivering the ball with some velocity. That throwback, halfback throwback?
Yep.
To Edwards to start the game, you were like, okay, he's on, and then he showed that. But then later on, the Gators finally settled down and started rushing the passer, making it tougher to make those throws. And Kyle Trask, like you said, he also has the knee because he has the brace physically on his knee, so he was not driving the football at all. It looked like duck hunt out there. I was like, I'm gonna pull out my little Nintendo gun and put it right up on the screen so I can get extra points. But he did have a little velocity on a couple of those touchdown passes.
We talked about it. Every once in a while, every drive, he would pick one throw that he knew he had to get a little something. He was going to have to grunt through, bite down a little bit.
If the twinge hits, it's okay. We got a touchdown.
Right. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. In any case, as we continue on here on the College Football Show presented by AT&T, another top 5 team in action that took care of business. And this one actually comes with the AT&T best performer, and that is one Jalen Hurts, because this man is on a Heisman campaign unlike any other. He was talking pregame with our boy Tom Rinaldi and said he doesn't carry a chip on his shoulder, he carries a boulder. And that hurt, and I don't know how he's throwing all these dimes with that thing sitting on his right shoulder. I hope it's on his non-throwing arm. But here he had just another day where he racked up 5 total touchdowns, threw the ball 17 times. And he racked up 3 passing touchdowns within the 16 completions that he had, 316 yards, only had 1 incompletion. The man is on a mission, man, and they get the big time win over West Virginia.
They could literally show all of his completions in this highlight package.
We might get to it.
We're at 7 right now. But that's just how effective Jalen Hurts is, and especially this offense. When you look at the weapons that he has, whether it's Murray, whether it's Lamb, or whether it's him, they get in the end zone. The guys look like they're moving at a much faster pace than whatever their opponent is. West Virginia, one time, Lamb caught a pass. He was surrounded by 3 West Virginia guys, ran backwards, lost yardage. Made a U-turn.
Deliberately.
And then hit another 10 yards north.
It's just insane, the amount of team speed that these jokers have. Lincoln Riley, obviously just a play calling wizard. They rack up another 50-point performance, and it's just a matter of the level of production that Jalen Hurts has combined with his storyline. Of course, the transfer, he doesn't want to talk about it. Don't miss him with that. But when it comes to taking into account what exactly he has gone throughout his entire college career, the setbacks, the steps forwards, the big-time performances in big-time games, he's easily my Heisman favorite at this point, just because of, again, compared with the storyline, compared to every other Heisman candidate, he's just got the level of video game production along with the storyline that kind of sets him apart.
Well, and think about this. The only thing that would be playing against him right now would be the fact that Oklahoma has housed the last 2 Heisman Trophy winners. That's the only way you don't, because right now, at the level he's playing, he's on all Madden.
Correct.
In the college football game.
Right, like he's not playing at the Heisman level.
Madden 2020 and just threw him down to NCAA and said, hey, just have at it. We'll give you some Pat Mahomes traits.
Right. The awareness, the field awareness.
Let me throw this out there real quick, and I don't know if it's a substantiated report, but I just read it in the comment section on the internet, and you're supposed to believe everything.
Everything on the internet is true.
One of the commenters said, like I said, we got to double check this. Jalen already has more passing yards than Baker and Kyler in their Heisman campaigns. We got to double check that. You got to substantiate.
At this point in the season,
or right now, compared to them all last season, that seems like a big chunk.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it is, I guess that's just more
the 6-game alignment. What are they? 7-0, so 7-game alignment. I could see him being above that. The man is throwing like a ridiculous amount of touchdowns. So
he hasn't had like a bad struggling game yet.
So yeah, like I could very much so see him being above their 7-game line at this point.
So how can you argue that? Yeah.
No, listen.
I guess you can't. Trev. I guess I won't at this given time, at this current juncture in our show. Check back in about 5 minutes, though.
Yeah, I got short-term memory. Look into that. The phony stats that Gary Striewski is throwing out from the corner bar. That's great. Appreciate it.
I got you.
Exactly. Let's continue on with talking football. Auburn and Arkansas. And we have a little Bo Nix treatment here. And my man, he threw 3 touchdowns today, which is dope. Career high for him. Also threw 17 passes like the man Jalen Hurts, completed 12 of them. But I think he was under 200 yards passing. So it's
176 doesn't quite ring like the threes. Any in those 300s.
But it's just a matter of what they ask him to do in this offense, right? He is a game manager, and as a true freshman, that's all you want from a guy. And again, I don't even mean to say game manager in a poor sense. Like, right? Like, if you are just kind of getting this offense going and being an integral part. Yeah.
What was
that? You know what? We're just going to stop down and address that one.
Wait, what was that?
We'll get back to my point, but that there fake punt was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Because it was doomed from the start schematically, and then we just going to continue. We're going to throw a chest pass. We're going to have our punter throw a chest pass.
I mean,
look at it in thumbs down, too. It's a thumbs down chest pass.
All the mechanics there. All the mechanics there. But deliberately.
Yes.
That's it. We will get more into that later. I can assure you. If you have joined this,
a special place.
Exactly. If you have been a part of this program before, I can assure you we will get back to that in just a little bit. Give us some little time. We're going to have the production team work on getting that separated, and we're going to really get into that there, really break all of that down. Auburn now 6-1. They're bowl eligible. We'll see what the season holds. They've got quite the test going down the road as far as what they have coming up next. But let's talk about their SEC West division mate. Thank you. I stopped it.
Comrades.
Fire before I double talk myself anymore. LSU taking on Mississippi State.
That's so good.
And they are balling. Like it's just they ball. Excuse me. Past tense. They won the game. They
won the game. There's no balling left to be balled.
That is correct. Joe Burrow sets the LSU single season passing touchdown record. And again, we are about halfway through this mug. So he's got 29 on the year, and he doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Another great offensive performance from Joe Burrow and the boys. They get the big-time win over Mississippi State. Shouts to Fenton up in the control room, just for the record. But yeah, as we continue to move on through this college football show, we go from number 2 to number 12. Oregon taking on Washington. That was a 3:30 start. That also went final. And this was just a Pac-12 battle where we're kind of trying to figure out what exactly this conference is going to shake out to be, because what they have representing them now is questionable in the fact that you don't know who exactly is good out of that league just yet. Oregon has the early loss to Auburn, but again, that's probably best case scenario if you have a loss on your record. But then you just look at them comparatively to the rest of their Pac-12 conference mates, and you're not in awe by them. Like you're satisfied with the fact that they're beating their opponents, but it's nothing to really that takes you aback as far as their performance goes.
And they literally took this to the hilt to get this victory right at the end. And you have to remember, Washington's 25, but Washington's like 4th in the Pac-12. So it's not like you beat like a rival that's like right below you that's going to give you a lot of style points. Like they were on the cusp.
Yeah.
Like they were like 2 votes away from not being in 25. So where do those quality wins come from if you are in Oregon? Because you had Auburn, who was a high ranking, but they've lost, so they're lower, so that doesn't give you a quality.
Correct.
And then who else in the Pac-12 is going to give you that?
That's the thing.
Utah.
Utah is your last hope. Like between Oregon and Utah, those are the 2 things you look at. You got to have Auburn perform really well down the stretch. Get another win over Georgia, get another win, and make their way into
LSU and Alabama still on the schedule.
Correct.
So if you're able to pull out a miracle,
they would have to get out of there with max 2 losses, and there are 3 potential losses remaining on their schedule. So it's just a matter of how good the loss is going to look at the end of the season, and that's where you struggle with the team out of the Pac-12, frankly, specifically with Oregon. So they get a big win over after actually coming back from down 28-14 in the 3rd quarter. So they get a big win, but nonetheless, the Pac-12 continues to kind of we continue to figure out how that's actually going to shake out. Let's have a larger discussion though about just the college football playoff at large, and we're about again halfway through this. The College Football Show presented by AT&T. Trevor Scales, Max Stars, Gary Striewski here, rocking with you. Sorry to borrow your catchphrase there. I just wanted to kind of make
That's
sure.
That's fine, man. I'm going to bill you later, bro. It's all good.
Word.
Keep it moving.
Is that what you're doing? You asking for a Zelly right now?
That's exactly what just happened.
I'm going to have a Venmo sitting in my joint like as soon as I walk out this mug. In any case, we had a discussion specifically surrounding the college football playoff prior to the show popping off, and we got into exactly what shakes out given Wisconsin's loss today, given the performances that we're waiting on in Penn State and Michigan. Again, we'll get you previewed on that as well. But we just have a lot of things to discuss as far as to what goes into this top 6. And I think we have who's first, mine or Max's?
Who's up?
You can fire it,
like
whatever.
Max.
Like we can figure it out.
We're number 1.
Yeah.
We're number 1.
Max and up.
Yeah, exactly. So as you see my midseason top 6, Alabama, you can't knock them.
Correct.
You can't knock them. They are the machine. They are the evil empire. Whatever you want to call them, they produce the clones that go be stormtroopers, okay? That's where they're at. Number 2, LSU. This was one I struggled with because LSU has better quality of victories, and the points that they're just putting up on ranked opponents makes them easily like a 1B.
Yes.
And then, of course, Ohio State, what they're doing, Justin Fields, whatever they do, they're blowing everybody out. Oklahoma, Jalen Hurts, like you said, Heisman leading candidate in my mind as well. All he does is win, win, win. And then Clemson, you're out of the top 4 in my mind.
Yeah, that's an interesting sort of switch there.
You're undefeated, but it looks ugly. And I want pretty things. If I'm going to put the top 4 to go in here, I would love to see that. How it ranks up, because I think Jalen Hurts against Alabama and Nick Saban would be an awesome first game to see. And then, of course, to finish that out, Penn State, obviously penciled in because you still got the Michigan tilt tonight. But, yeah, that's my top 6. I had to take Wisconsin out of it just because of that loss and to who you lost to.
That's fair. I mean, and again, I think I'm a firm believer of like everybody gets one of those dud performances, and I think you're hitting the nail on the head specifically with Clemson in that they've had a couple where you're just like, what is going on with this program? But here's my top 6. Again, Bama at the top. I can't blame you for that. LSU in the 2 slot again. We're on the same page there. Oklahoma at 3 because I think their defense is overperforming than what we expected out of them, right? Again, a lot of people expected that defensive backfield to be a massive problem, but when they're getting after quarterbacks the way they are with their front 7, you ain't got to worry about it. Everybody just tossing out incompletions with 2 seconds left on the clock. Like, screw it. I don't care. 4 at Clemson because, again, they haven't done anything to disprove themselves out of the playoff conversation, and I think Ohio State still has a little bit more to prove to me that they will be in there. And Wisconsin, again, everybody gets 1, and I'm waiting on Penn State. I'm not against the Penn State in the 6th slot, but I'm waiting on them to perform this evening, and they have certainly the potential to slide up if they improve to 7-0 and take in that 2 slot in the east side of the Big Ten. Garrett, what you got for
Hey, guys, this is the correct top 6 as as it sits right now.
Come on.
I did flip LSU and Alabama basically because I put my mindset in what the voters are going to be. You can't necessarily judge somebody on their past, present. It is exactly what they're doing, their strength of schedule, who they've beaten. LSU so far has the most impressive resume, and then it's Bama for obvious reasons. Ohio State balling. Clemson, and I know that's a little bit of a reverse logic based off why I bumped Alabama, but I'm not going to knock them out of the top four because still right now they just won 45-10. Still undefeated. Oklahoma balling. And I'm not going to penalize Wisconsin for a loss, even though Penn State would be the logical bump up here because, to Max's point, they haven't played yet, Penn State. And I think out of all of the teams, the top teams like a Wisconsin who've had these fluky losses, I don't think this is indicative of who they actually are because every other win up to this point has pretty much been a blowout. Jonathan Taylor's still doing his thing. I think this was just one instance of maybe mismanagement towards the end, so I'm not going to penalize them for that. Plus, next week, they're going to Ohio State, which I think, depending on what happens in the horseshoe, is really going to tell us what kind of Wisconsin team we have. And if they can take care of business against the Buckeyes, I would argue they might push themselves into a top four spot. There you go.
Woo, spicy.
Well,
Spicy.
Well, I mean, Ohio State's 3, so I had them at Ohio State right there. So if we're talking about Ohio State as a playoff team.
It's a lot of two, like, that's leapfrogging a couple good teams. That's a couple good programs that they will have to go over. As we continue kind of this Big Ten conversation here on the College Football Show presented by AT&T, Trevor Scales, Max Sarchi, Saw Gary Striewski, and we now have a special guest joining us, and that is Devin Bush. The man is a former Michigan Wolverine, currently a rookie with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a connection point.
That's right. Here we go, Steelers.
Absolutely. And Devin, as we get started, we appreciate you joining us, big dog. And early question in, how do you feel about this matchup going into Happy Valley? How you think your Wolverines going to do this evening?
Man, they're going to do great. It's going to be a great game. You know, I'm sitting here in front of the TV right now, getting ready to watch. I'm ready for the Wolverines to beat up on the Natty Lions.
Beating them up.
Yeah.
All right, now, Devin, now what's the X factor? Because, I mean, we saw the game, that Iowa-Michigan game, and we were worried because defense looked amazing. Offense looked untraceable. So what are you expecting in this game? Like, what do you say? Does the offense finally show their different dimension against Penn State, or do you think it's going to be a defensive blackout again?
Honestly, it's going to be a defensive game. Michigan got to step on their neck really quick on defense, and offense got to, keep the field position, make sure they limit the turnovers and, keep their time of possession, get a defense time to rest. And, man, if they do that and manage a game like that, put up points and create turnovers, I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a blowout.
Now, Devin, I know there's a massive void that's left in that linebacker room having you walk out of that mug, and that's understandable. How do you think those guys are performing coming up to this point in the season with the Wolverines performing as well as they are defensively?
I think they're doing well. I think they're finding themselves. Early in the season, they was trying to look for that, that confidence, playing together and being out there together. But I think as the season went on, I think they picked it up a lot, especially that Iowa game. And I think they're coming in, Happy Valley with a lot of momentum behind them. So I believe they're going to do their thing tonight.
All right, Devin. I've asked all the college Big Ten questions I can.
We got through that, yeah.
And I got through it safely. Let's talk about my Steelers, man. Listen, I'm a very proud alum, and so I want to congratulate you first off on the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, because you were the only guy to recognize that the ball was lateral and to pick it up and take it into the end zone. Nobody on the entire Chargers squad. I appreciate that, but more so than that, like, how do you see this defense coming together? Because, obviously having Minka come in there as a trade, and the way that this defensive line has responded, and obviously you're losing Stephon to it. I love Stephon, but the rest of these young guys really kicking in. How do you see this team just starting to galvanize itself now after this victory?
Yeah, man, I think everything is gelling together. I think everything is still growing. I think it's a lot more things that we could get better at as a team. But, man, our arrow was pointing up. We still got a lot more games to play. Got a lot more, trials and tribulations of the season. It's going to come to time games where we got to go in overtime and win in the fourth quarter. So it's going to be a lot of things that's going to help us grow as a team as the season goes. But I think all around, man, I think everything is clicking and then we're going the right path.
Devin Bush joining the College Football Show presented by AT&T. Trevor Scales, Max Stars, Gary Striewski holding you down here in Studio B Lounge. And Devin, real quick to get back to the college football conversation, I let my man Max get a little Pittsburgh Steelers love. Had to do it. But I want to kind of get your thoughts on what's going forward for the Michigan Wolverines. How do you expect them to kind of finish out this season, man?
Yeah, I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think this is a team, especially if they get a big win tonight. This is a team, you got to be on the lookout for. I believe they can sneak their way into the Big Ten championship, and I think they can win it. I think they got the potential to win it.
Most important question: are they going to beat the Buckeyes?
They got to. Right. If they don't, they got to do it for me. They got to do it.
Well, you gonna get back to the side? You gonna check back in on them? You gonna give them a little boost or something?
They got to do it.
Well, I think also, just talk about, this defense. The one thing I do get on, I love to see how you guys play on defense, how you guys swarm on the ball, and I think that's going to be key for tonight. When you look at just the Eastern picture in general, and Trevor mentioned that team down south. I guess is that how y'all call it? I don't know how they call it. I know what Ohio State says.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, all right.
Yeah!
The other team in the Big Ten that you guys play against, that's always at the end of the year.
Red.
But how do you feel like you guys stack up when you look at that Eastern Division of the Big Ten and the other teams? Like there is Penn State, there is that other team we won't name. But, how do you feel you guys stack up when you talk about personnel-wise? Like, what's the strength of this team right now and what you think it will be moving forward?
I think the strength of the team is experience. We got a lot of guys with a lot of experience on both sides of the ball. And we got a lot of playmakers on that team. So I think just the Big Ten East itself, I think, the personnel obviously match up nicely with each other. It's a wild conference playing the big East, and at any given moment you could lose or get a big win. So it's kind of it matches up. It's just whichever team is better that day, which teammate that plays that day.
That's Devin Bush. We appreciate you joining us. AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Just the whole conference.
Yes.
The whole conference.
Yeah, go ahead and do your thing, big dog. We appreciate you joining us here on the College Football Show, presented by AT&T. And as we kind of move on into our primetime preview, that Michigan Penn State matchup down in Happy Valley, we got plenty to talk about with it. But first, let's get a little check-in with the one and only Maria Taylor. She's kicking it with us here.
What's up, guys? Maria here on the sidelines for the whiteout. The fans are slowly getting here. The players have taken the field. And here's what you need to know. It's going to be a defensive battle because both these teams have proven themselves on defense. You know who hasn't been proven? Both these offenses. We'll see if Shea Patterson or Sean Clifford gets going first. Either way, there's weapons out there. Michigan has one of the best wide receiver corps that there is in the Big Ten. Meanwhile, you know the guy's name, KJ Hamler. It's hammer time. And we'll see whether or not he gets the 10 touches that James Franklin says he needs to have in order for them to have success. Either way, it's a successful night in the Big Ten. I'm going to have fun and put on a jacket because it's getting chilly.
As we continue to talk this tilt down in Happy Valley, we have a little something like we like to call today's lesson, brought to you by Dos Equis. And it comes to you courtesy of one Dan Orlovsky, breaking down a little something on Sean Clifford.
Hey, this is Dan Orlovsky with the College Football Show, and today's lesson is be fearless against big defenses. Last week, quarterback Sean Clifford and the Nittany Lions faced a good Iowa defense. Tonight, they'll be up against an even better one in Michigan. Here's what he'll need to do to stay undefeated. Number one, use your feet. Noah Cain in your run game got really going last week. You got to use your feet athletically to make some plays, but also take some attention off of Noah Cain in that run game. And number two, find KJ Hamler and Freiermuth. Those are going to be your big man-to-man opportunity winners, and attack Michigan's defense that way. And that's today's lesson.
We appreciate that, Dan. And as we continue to move along with our primetime preview, the man that's half your size, Max Starks, that is Jason Fitt. We got a little hit with him. Let's check in with him and McGee.
All right, I'm standing on the field at Penn State. Got a surprise guest. Trevor! Does this make me, like, we look like a dynamic duo. I'm just saying, like, we're dashingly good looking, although this is a weak growth for me.
No,
and that's,
I look like you if you slept, like, on a bench outside the stadium for a couple of
That's a fair point. Okay, so tonight, big game, everybody's got their eyes on this. I don't see a way that Michigan's going to be able to keep this competitive. Tell me why I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I can't disagree with you because, listen, it's not just about talent and all that. The track record is what it is. You know, until Jim Harbaugh coaches a team that wins a big game on the road against a ranked opponent, or a bowl game, or Ohio State, or take your pick, then I'm not picking them ever.
Well, and I think the decline of Shea Patterson, when you match that with the fact that this is a defensive line that's going to be able to get after him, I think the most disappointing thing is that they have the weapons and the size outside for Michigan, and they're not going to be able to take advantage of it because I don't trust Shea in the pocket.
No, and listen, and every time we think that this game is going to be a close game, like the last couple of years, not a close game, and it goes in the home team's favor. So, whiteout, atmosphere.
Have you been to a whiteout yet?
This game 2 years ago, and spoiler alert, it did not turn out very, very well for Michigan.
Well, it's like me trying to hug Trevor Scales. It never turns out well. Trevor, we love you. I'd say we miss you, but we're having a pretty good time just where we are.
That's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded.
Yo, Fitz is letting those game day numbers go to his head. He got those stunners on. He wanted to look you in the eye, Trevor.
He was like, nah, you ain't got to see this.
Sun wasn't even out in Happy Valley. Look, there's so much shade. We see you, Fitz.
Nah, doing us dirty. You get out the house and just go big time on us. In any case, let's talk about this game itself, man, because I need to be distracted from the big time that I just got done.
Okay, I'm here.
So,
it's okay.
so
It's okay.
So uncalled for. But when it comes to this Penn State-Michigan matchup, it is a matter of the defenses we know are going to be there. They're going to be very much so present. But when you look at the quarterback position, there's a very clear advantage, and it is in favor of the Nittany Lions. And because of that, it's pretty easily said for me that the Penn State Nittany Lions kind of walk away with this one. And then you pair that with the whiteout, they feel invincible in a matchup like this.
Clifford,
Right.
Patterson, Clifford,
Right.
Patterson,
Right.
Clifford, Patterson.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going with Penn State in this one. I mean, it's just because the offense has an identity. This team is a very good offense, well balanced. They can get it done through the air. They can get it done on the ground. And I think that's just going to be too much for Michigan to overcome with their lack of offensive ingenuity. Shea Patterson struggles mightily, especially when you get into a one-dimensional game for them. So if Penn State stops the run and forces it into Shea Patterson's hands where he has to deliver it through the air, I think that's now huge advantage. I think Penn State wins this one. I think it will be a defensive battle, but I think Penn State wins by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to say that it's a comfortable margin. And I think a lot of it has to do with the home field advantage down in Happy Valley. And that's something like Gary can actually speak to, having been there and been a part of that and actually been in the student section out there wilding at it.
Last year, I was at the whiteout when Penn State hosted Ohio State, and it was the craziest scenario, craziest venue I've ever been to, and I've been in this business for 10 years. It was insane. It was deafeningly loud, and that's nothing that these Big Ten or big time programs, aren't unused to, but it was just a completely different animal.
Yeah, so. And I think when it comes to, they were talking about it on Countdown to Game Day. Shouts to Jason Fitz, even though I'm really salty with you right about now. You can check them out on Twitter, YouTube Live, and the ESPN app, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern, right before College Game Day. But they were talking a lot about just what that does. David Pollack specifically mentioned when it comes to your offense as Michigan, right? You already have troubles enough when you can communicate fully. Like now you can't communicate at all. You can't check out of nothing. You just stuck in whatever play call you got, and you better be able to get the snap off on the right time because it's a matter of them just being so debilitated by that crowd, and then you're already defunct as a unit in general. It's a tough matchup for them.
Yeah, and sign language is not going to work in this game.
Can't see it. Can't see it.
Won't see it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Whiteout, too bright.
Let's keep it pushing on the College Football Show presented by AT&T. Holy cow, top plays. And that is just a fun way to kind of go about doing it. We are a family program here, so we can't say holy bleep. We say holy cow, and we follow up with a little bit of a rating system to kind of get you the how impressed we are by how many moves, I think. Is that what you came up with, Gary? Just how many moves?
How many moves?
Was? I don't think it's that many moves because we only have 2 moves for 100.
Only time I went off script with this is I was pleading for a sponsor and I was told not
yeah, don't do that again.
a certain particular
because
one.
Because here you go.
So I'm going to just stick to the script.
Man, y'all get the first play up here before we get in trouble anymore.
Yes.
No, let's fire up the first play for me, please.
Let's go. Let's just go.
Penn State taking on Ohio. Michael Farkas is kicking off. And this here, right, so it's an onside kick. And I don't know how intentional this was. I think it was
full
like
intent. Full intent.
full intent. Like he's aiming for the dome piece.
Boom.
Right? Like, no, I'm not giving him that. Like, I think it was a squib kick that didn't quite go right. And it just like kind of happened to turn into an onside joint, and we just gonna snag
Did
that.
you ask him that? Because I bet you he would say it was intentional.
No, of course he gonna sit there and say it was intentional. I'd say it was intentional if I kicked that mug.
60% of the time, it works all the time.
There you go.
And that was the deadest
Smells
knuckleball
like
I've
pure
ever seen.
gasoline. Yeah, no, it's just all bad. In any case, I got to give it a rating, right? For those that are out there
You do.
wondering
How
what the
was
heck
that?
is going on, that is a 92.
Oh.
92.
What you mean, boo?
No, I said move.
Oh, move.
Yeah.
Sorry, the
That was,
consonants
a,
got
that
a
was
little
an
muddled
authentic
there.
move, by the way.
That was pretty decent.
That's pretty good.
Shout out Old McDonald.
That's pretty good.
Max Stars, what you got for us, man?
All right, so what we have here, this is one actually from Nichols versus Sam Houston State.
Okay.
Shout out to my homeboy Darnell Stapleton, the offensive line coach
Okay.
here. But anyways, Sam Houston State with the trickery.
Ooh.
So after 3 handoffs, wide receiver Ryan Humphries finds fellow wideout
Get there.
Deye, who fights his way to the end zone for 47-yard touchdown. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3. Give it off.
Yep.
All right, cavalcade. Do you see the lineman?
Yes.
I see lineman in the screen.
Big old
I see
wall.
another
There's
one.
another
I see
couple of them.
4 out of 5 linemen were in this shot. And then now he's a spin move,
Yeah.
rumbling, stumbling,
And then they were
tumbling.
following up. They kind of gave him that little extra shove to get up in there.
I mean, that's what you need. That's what good linemen do. That's what good linemen do, in case you guys
That's
are
teach
wondering.
tape for you. That's teach.
But-
So you got to score for it.
I do have a score. I have a Plaxico Burst.
A Plaxico Burst. So
That's an 80. That's
Okay,
an 80
that's
for
an
me.
80.
Non-stealing
What?
man.
that feels. That
The
feels
reason
really.
why-
Mac, you guessed that
really
play
low.
up like
The reason I can't give this a James Harrison, a Casey Hampton, or a Brett Kiesel is because
95, 98, 99. Just
There we go.
yeah.
In case y'all were wondering, there's 92, 98, 99. Anyways, and you can never give 100.
No, yeah.
I mean, it has to be
maybe
at
not
least 100.
never. We've seen it.
I mean, you have to be 100 yards, I feel, if you want 100.
We can have that discussion. But go ahead, continue.
Anyways,
Latia.
but I felt like it was a solid play. I feel like a big-time receiver making a big-time grab and using all the things at his disposal, namely his offensive line, helping carry the way.
Yeah.
So I had to get the closest number to an offensive lineman number without
Okay.
it being an offensive lineman.
Because that's like a C grade. We ain't about to hand no C grade out to that.
It's not a C.
Wow.
My logic, it might have a different scale. The max scale works any way I want it to work at that moment.
He coming to the show and just blow up the whole rating system.
I do.
It's 0 to
46%
100.
of the offense touched the football and it wasn't unintentional. That's impressive.
That's wildly impressive.
and that's
What's
why you
also
get
impressive
80.
is your percentage calculation there. I won't
That
give you
fast.
It was a ballpark, but you can maybe assume that it was just
Exactly.
right on the nose. Why would you assume that? Anyway, all right, here we go. I'm up. We're going to the FCS, boys and girls. This is Merrimack College
yeah.
versus Delaware State. I got nobody to shout out here except for Merrimack wide receiver Johnny Rosario. The leapage. Oh, I'm guessing this is off dominant hand because he was pushing off on the DB and not getting the call. Let me finish. I love it. Get away with it. It's only a crime if you get caught. And the only thing that was caught was the football for a score. Can't tell you who won, can't tell you who lost, but this is what I'll tell you. That was impressive. You know what my score was? Who was number 89 on your Super Bowl years, Max?
I'm sorry.
Who was number 89?
89.
It's getting 89 moves. I'm assuming it's a tight end.
Faith.
Max Spaeth. Baby,
Golden
baby.
Gopher. Tight end.
Hey, what up, Max? Shout out to Max Spaeth. I felt left out. Everybody was getting shout outs, and I got nobody to shout out.
It's okay. It's
Max
okay.
Spaeth.
It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
You don't even
89.
worry about it. Don't even worry
They're
about it.
leading Wisconsin right now in the Big Ten West.
There it is.
So there you go.
That's a
damn.
shout out for you. That's a shout out for you. Last holy cow moment comes out of Minnesota and Rutgers. Boy, I tell you, I never would have thought I'd said that. Minnesota's Rashad Bateman. This one-hander is some serious, and it's an and one.
Oh.
Hold
Give it
that.
to 'em.
Hold that. We have a special segment for good catches coming up later, but we had to get this one in right here, right now, because it was just that fantastic. So shout out to Minnesota's Rashad Bateman. And for that, right, like, so it wasn't quite a stab, wasn't quite like the full-on and one that I'm typically a fan of. So strong score either way. 95 out of your boy for that one. That's a 95. We still not, like to your point, not a 100. The 100 that I've given out this season, I don't know if you remember LSU's left guard on a pass pro rep against Vanderbilt. had 2 pancakes, but celebrated in between them,
Oh, yeah.
I had to get at 100. Like that was just like.
See, now that's worthy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
right?
worthy. You can't double knockdown.
Correct.
With the celebration
With the
in between.
celly.
Had a halftime show for himself.
Listen, it was great. It was just fantastic. Things that are not fantastic. That is what this next segment is filled with, actually. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. Simply put, it's called Bruh. And it's exactly what you thought it is. It's like the moment you saw the play, it's just, bruh, what are we doing? There's just so many different questions that we can ask, and I can assure you, first and foremost, we checked the safety on all of these individuals that are coming up in these clips and made sure that everybody cool, everybody healthy. But let's just get into the first one, and that comes out of Louisville. Actually, I can't even confirm that he's okay, because he's out here wilding.
Somebody's concussed.
Yeah.
Somebody's concussed.
Just...
I mean,
you taking on people way bigger than you. You ain't got half the pattern that they got. Look at him.
I mean, but he's committing penalties back and forth.
And now he's giving up a coach.
Look, a holding call, face mask, illegal
What
contact.
is this?
He's bleeding. I mean, and then this is just ridiculous.
This is like a season-long thing. He done did this several times over. Got himself messed up.
I mean, look, he's on top of people yelling. Listen, who is he leaning on? Because that core strength to sit there and do that many.
Hold that man up.
Air
he
jabs.
wilding.
Air jabs. Somebody just needs to stop. It's like we'd rather have him in the air where he doesn't have any leverage.
Correct.
He can't drive.
Because he can't steal on me from up top.
He can't grab my face mask if he's up top.
Right.
He'll fall.
Exactly. Then he's stuck. And then look at him.
Yes.
Stuck. No, man. So yeah, that's about as bruh as it gets, man.
It clearly worked.
Yeah. I mean,
lost 45 to 10. So it clearly
why did he put a uniform on and go use that energy out on the field?
That's one of the
Louisville could have used that.
Look, that's one of them moments where you look at Coach, Coach, you got it. Like,
he ain't even in my position, Coach. I don't know why he talking to me right now.
I teased this one earlier because we had it in the highlight. Arkansas and Auburn. The Arkansas punter.
Yes.
We gonna take our time with this one. We gonna take our time with this one. This is a fake punt gone awry. I'm not entirely sure what the man there was thinking. The special teams coach that kind of drew this up in the week leading up to practice, Tuesday and Wednesday, when you kind of installed this. Y'all ain't look at no special teams tape and say, you know what, they actually rushed a couple people. We probably should have run this.
Probably should. No, why are we trying to run the jet sweep? Yeah, exactly. He's already brud on the sideline. Look at this.
He's in triple threat possession. He's about to take a jump shot.
The thumbs went down, like no trajectory on that ball or anything.
It's all bad. It's all bad going down there.
Exactly. Like,
yeet. There are so many different things that just go awry here. Like, it looked like the punter wasn't quite sure that he was supposed to be faking this. He didn't feel like he actually had the green light. Personal protection just sat there and froze as if they didn't see the 3 people that about to run in and intercept this.
We're here to block.
Correct. Like, you
here
just got
to block the guy.
Right.
That's it.
Robots just froze.
The Auburn player was like, oh, word? Really?
Yeah.
You'll give me a oop like this?
Snag, appreciate it.
Snag it. Thank you. Interception.
Keep it pushing.
Add the stats.
Look, we gonna keep it pushing too, because this next clip here, again, I promise y'all that everybody's healthy here.
Everybody walked off.
Everybody's okay. The Sooner Schooner. I looked up the pronunciation of what that.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yo! You have died of dysentery.
Oregon Trail. Shout out Oregon Trail.
Shout out Oregon Trail. Yes.
That's right. Floppy disk, Macintosh.
Okay, but see, like, there's a larger discussion to be had here, okay? Because we are incorporating live animals into celebrations and whatnot. I don't think we should, because stuff like you incorporate live animals, they're completely unpredictable, because them horses ain't worried about nobody falling off.
No, they're not.
They done take it, like.
They started plowing the field afterwards. Do you see the line?
And look,
you can go plant crops.
Had people walking out there trying to stomp the grass down. Like that's the first thing everybody making sure that everybody's healthy, and then the CSC
dust it under the rug.
He's like, hold on,
that moment where you just dusted under the rug? Like, no, we didn't see anything. Look at that.
Just shook.
And
Everybody
then the girl
shook.
behind her said, oh, I gotta get on the gram for this. I gotta put this on the gram. That just happened live.
That was all kinds of insane. This one here, I can't promise all of the feelings are safe here. So Dan Hoganson had his son playing quarterback today.
You think it's a happy moment, right?
Right. Feel good.
Time.
But it wasn't.
That's my boy.
It wasn't quite that when he came off the field.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hot mic. Here we go. Hey now. Hey now. Yeah, see. So, yeah, it got a little spicy on the sideline for one day, the Hogan said. And it wasn't too kind to him. Now, this one was a little bit more PG. So we talked about Trevor Lawrence, just mistake after mistake. And his answer for what he saw from Trevor was this.
Trevor Lawrence, how do you assess his half?
He had 3 horrendous plays. He should have had a touchdown to J.C. Chalk, and he just high. And then just 2 bad plays. You know, they dropping everybody, check it down. We left a lot of points. We had a lot of offense and not enough points. But, you know, I told him, I said, Kobe Bryant said one time he'd go 0 for 30 before he goes 0 for 12.
Well, see, Dabo kept it all the way G, kept it an absolute buck with Alex Williams on the sideline there headed into halftime about Trevor Lawrence's performance. Again, they got right. They ended up getting the win, won by a comfortable margin and all that. But it wasn't pretty for that first half for one Trevor Lawrence.
And that's why they ended up number 5 on my top 6. That's
Fair
why
enough.
you made it a college football player.
That's what gets you bumped up out of that top 4. That's 1,000% what gets you bumped out.
Make an informed decision when I put out my top 6.
So I learned something new in Bruh today as we kind of compiled this list of clips together. Oregon and Washington were playing earlier today. Oregon got the big time winning on a kickoff, about 9:45 remaining in the first quarter. There's a little bit of a gadget play on the return, run by the Huskies, okay? So you'll see the throw back here, lateral, and he has a nice little return out of it. Doesn't quite crib call it, but gets right about to midfield. Only issue is your man was laying down so ball gets kicked, then he goes and lays down in the end zone. And they threw a flag saying it was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on that brother for laying down in the end zone and trying to disguise himself and hide himself within the field of play. I guess deception is not okay on the football field. I learned that today. That'll get you hemmed up for an unsportsmanlike conduct.
So RPOs and everything, as long as you're standing,
correct,
you can deceive people.
Correct.
But the second you put your chest on the ground,
correct,
that's the line they draw.
Yeah,
he stood up and he was outside the end zone. They counted. They knew he was there.
That was my thing. Like, it's not as if he
physically laying down was going to. He disappeared.
We lost him.
He stood still.
Yes, exactly. Like, it makes no sense. I think that you may have a point with me if he was laying down before the ball was kicked and he hit the entire time, to your point, right? But he very clearly allowed himself to be counted. Then took a couple back pedal steps, laid it all down, made sure everything was set, and tried to make a little something happen. I think when it comes to kind of the rules explanation was that, like, he was actively trying to deceive the team, and that's what the issue was. The whole game of football is built upon
deception.
Yes. And you brought up a great point. If we had Boise State and they got all blue uniforms,
and he just lays down on the 5.
On the 5. Like, we still calling that penalty?
Blue on blue.
Holla at me. Like, I just don't know. There are a lot of questions that I had.
It would have been cooler had he actually went and tried to do, like, put his lower body in the goal of a letter and just went, like, straight plank style.
Right.
He didn't.
He didn't do that.
Like, he
did a quick
counted.
up down.
He did a quick up down that was delayed. It was like after your 5th one.
Yeah.
And you really don't want to get up.
Yeah.
And you're like,
hang out there and see if you can catch the next wake up.
It's speed.
Last one, Clemson and Louisville. We had a back to that game for this one here. Andrew Booth Jr. and Louisville defensive back Trenell Troutman get into a little bit of a scuffle here. Throwing a couple hands. It was just one hand thrown, and that's what got him thrown up out the game.
3-point
right
toss.
About. Hold that.
There it is.
Hey, funniest part is I think the ref threw the flag on the windup. Like, he got up and the ref like, no.
I know how this movie ends.
So right then and there, he's like, no, we're going to have to get you up out the paint, brother. I appreciate you joining us.
There's no interpretation after that.
Oh, not at all.
To this point, you already know what the end result is.
Correct.
At that point.
It was,
You're a DB. Why are you swinging at a face masked person? And your job is to use your hands to either deflect or catch balls.
You know what? You bring up a great point because it was brought up in the broadcast booth as well about, like, trying to punch somebody with a helmet on. Okay, first of all, the game of football is not rational, so I'm clearly irrational for being out there to begin with. So if I make a rational decision while I'm out there, please don't fault me. That's my only logic behind that.
But here, this is what happens when you try and hit somebody with a face mask.
Yeah, that's
I learned
gross.
that right there.
That's gross.
Rodney Bailey.
Gary.
He said
my
that. He's sitting right next to you.
My own teammate. That's right there.
That's
you see that? You see that?
I'm
Trevor?
all set.
It's right
Thank
there.
you.
See that
I'm
one right
good.
there? That's the
Appreciate
Rodney
it.
Bailey finger.
I'm straight, bro.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
He got. We had a moment. He grabbed my face mask, so I decided that it was smart at the moment to return the favor to his face mask just with my fist instead of my hands. Not smart.
Face mask always wins.
It does. It does. It's inanimate. It's solid, and it hurts.
Gary,
I'm taking over. This is man, give me that. And you know what? I'm gonna make it quick. These are the best catches we've seen because I got a little something on the back end of this that y'all are gonna go crazy for. Ready? Best catches that we've seen up until this point, and we're getting started in Arkansas. Arkansas wide receiver Treylon Burks making the terrific catch. Tip drill, juggle among the traffic. Didn't get decapitated. Man, give me that.
That's trust.
Arkansas took the L. We're keeping this thing moving.
Let's keep it pushing. This.
Iowa one-handed catch for the first down. We're going to get to it here.
Salivate over this one.
All right, I'll show it one time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Now we're going to see Iowa wide receiver Amir Smith-Marset. He's going to do his thing.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I nailed that pronunciation.
Hey,
if I didn't, hit me in the comments.
Fast and confident.
Another one-handed catch on the run,
little bit of
down
yak,
the sideline,
little bit of yak.
with the concentration.
Let's see.
But watch after. Yeah,
man.
And then the
give me that.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Double
Make
pump.
sure you know.
Yeah.
Double pump. Yeah. Still in one hand.
Correct.
One
He
hand
knows.
on.
He's like, yo, Gary, make sure you get this in, man. Give me that. And guess what? We did. We will oblige. And Iowa taking care of business at home. They get the win. We're moving on. We got 4 of them, 3 in. Evangel? Wide receiver? I'm pretty sure. Jansen Ackland makes the remarkable one-hand. We got a lot of one-handed catches right here.
Yeah.
So shout out to
this
the,
man, give me that. Why would you
shout out to
expect
the
anything
one-hand.
less? Hey, shout out to the ref.
Man, give me that. Oh, full
On the
extension.
rotation.
Oh, and then he takes.
Take to the shot.
Yeah, he takes a shot.
Shout out to the running backs pass pro. I just want to say that. He got another.
That's where we're going.
And also,
yeah.
here on the College Football Show, we do not discriminate to any classification. NAIA in the building. Clip it, run it, use it as a recruiting tool. You can maybe make man give me that. Anyway, last but not least, Florida wide receiver Freddie Swain, 25-yard. Here's a touchdown. Diving catch into the end zone. Full concentration and extension.
There was no
there's the
OPI
flex.
on this one.
Man, and give me that. Oh, diving from the 5. Let's count it. Florida gets the win.
The flag was on hold.
I want to run something very quickly back to what we did last week. Peep this.
I can use the whole access to the field.
Oh, just kidding. We got one more, man. Give me that. I was on the wrong page. Man, guys, trust me. That's just the juke. That's just the juke. Oh, God. That was good. Yo, I'm glad we actually got to that one. That was really impressive. Okay, man, give me that. The segment is over. Now watch what I got for you guys from last week.
We have like an exit survey every single season, right?
Oh, no.
Every single season.
you getting a piece of your mind?
Harvard? Yes.
You getting a piece of your mind?
No, and every single year, we all wrote we want black jerseys next season.
No.
Every year we wrote that joint. They give it the year after we wrote it. I was like, oh,
no. It was
That's so inappropriate.
Shout out to Harvard.
Nah.
They watched the show.
Watch out, bro.
Sent me that swag right there.
Watch out,
Harvard
bro.
football.
I don't even have that.
Harvard football,
I
baby.
don't even have that.
Harvard, thank you so much for watching
hurt.
the show, sending me a care package. I love you guys.
Hold on. You hit up Alex?
I got something for you.
I got something for you.
Oh, we got that. We got what you asked for.
In there.
Harvard hit me up, obviously your alma mater, and said, we cannot let our most famous alum go without the black crimson.
That's
Something you
hard.
didn't get to rock during your playing days.
I did not.
And something I'll give you $100 for right now if you can put that on.
I got the hoodie on.
It doesn't matter,
bro. I can't do it, bro. Man, we out of time, Dan.
Oh, we are?
No, I'm just playing.
Show real quick, because that thing,
this thing is sick. Hey, shout out Alex Ferguson. Shout out the entire Harvard football staff. Go Crimson and all that. Big time win over Holy Cross on the road. By the way, that was a good time. 31-21, I believe, was the final there. So shout out to all of them and my crew out there.
They reached out to me and were like, hey, we're going to send this to your house. And when I got the package, that jersey's so smooth, I almost said I didn't get it. I almost said, I must have got lost in the mail.
That's crazy.
But then it wouldn't look weird me pulling up one weekend with the Harvard
with
jersey
the
on.
2-4. Like,
I'd have some explaining to do.
how'd you get that?
That thing is smooth, so shout out to Harvard.
No, yeah, real stuff. We appreciate it thoroughly, man. This is the College Football Show presented by AT&T. Trevor Scales, Max Starks, Gary Striewski holding you down, and we are very happy. Quite the opposite of these here fans. This is always just a fun thing to get some jokes off at the expense of people's sadness. Seeing their team either, lay an egg or something like that. Hey, you get to celebrate this one, see?
Sad moment. They knew what happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh.
Oh, see, this was funny because I remember this moment. It was right after South Carolina had a big drive. They go up, and then off that one run that you mentioned, Florida right back in the building.
Just right down. And look at those guys. They're like,
my bros are hurt.
We could have been at the state fair, but we came here for this. Because that's the inside joke. There was a state fair shot that we saw right next to the stadium.
Yep.
And they're like, we walked all the way up to the top left corner of this stadium.
Those guys, just like this dude, very much so Gary Striewski fans. Like both of these, like all 4 of these cats are very much so Gary Striewski fans.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Those guys got the war for me.
That was a bad decision just from the get-go to even paint yourself that much red.
Hey, there's a whole lot of sad fans down in Coral Gables this season.
She's playing the piano though, look.
Yeah.
She's probably playing the sound that's underneath this video right now. This is one of them other fans. Look.
Whoa,
give it to him.
Oh. You're not going to win that fight.
No, man, that's an inanimate
First Fortnite, now this.
Hurt. All kinds of hurt.
He is hurt right now.
All kinds of hurt.
I would too if I lost to G-Tech in overtime.
Ooh.
G-Tech, that's a statement win for their entire year.
Yes, and that might be one of the few they get. That's just kind of game is the game. Game is the game. We appreciate you joining us here on the College Football Show presented by AT&T. What's up?
Is it already time to go?
Yeah, it's time to go, player. It flies by when you're having fun. We appreciate you joining us here on Twitter, YouTube Live, and the ESPN app. Appreciate you repping my team here, Gary Striewski. Appreciate the jersey as well. So thank you to Alex Ferguson and the crew over there. We appreciate our production staff above all else, and we appreciate you watching us. Until week 9, this has been week 8. We appreciate you. Go enjoy Michigan and Penn State going down in Happy Valley right now on ABC.